Good afternoon, everybody. I am Jeffrey Meldon, founder of Meldon Law, welcoming you to a special edition of Meldon Law and Friends. We have got a great show for you today. I just want to remind everybody that we also have a radio show every Saturday on WSKY 97.3 FM called Law Talk Live. It's 19 years. We're actually in our 20th year right now. And every Saturday at 10:30, it's a call-in show. We'll help you with any legal issues that you have. And we are really excited to be entering our 20th year on the air. Of course, Meldon Law and Friends, this podcast, is now entering our second year. And we're very excited about that. Thank you for everyone to listening and watching the show. It's very exciting for us to be able to bring these incredible people from the community on the show and talk about things that are really meaningful to the North Central Florida community. We have a volleyball tournament coming up. I think the Gators are in the regionals. Check our Facebook page, Meldon Law. We always have ticket giveaways. And we will continue to do that. We're waiting to see what happens as far as the Gators and their bowl game. And I'm sure we'll have some tickets for the Gators whenever we find out what bowl game they're going to. So that's what's going on at Meldon Law. Our firm was founded in 1971, and we help people who have been victims of accidents help put their lives back together. And our guest today is Sherry Houston. And in many ways, Sherry, you help people put their lives back together as well.
We absolutely do. And it's truly a pleasure to be with you today.
Well, thank you very much. So you are the executive director of the Ronald McDonald House. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's an honor to be the executive director and to serve families who have a child who's seriously ill. So our house has been built in 1940. I have been the executive director now for 7 years, and that 7 years has truly just flown by.
When was the Ronald McDonald House in Gainesville built?
In 1982.
Oh, wow. So you're almost 40 years old.
I know. Well, the house is. I'm older than that.
You are? Oh,
I
would have been
am.
shocked. I thought you were in your 30s still, but that's okay. So I remember, I've been here since 1970, so I remember when the Ronald McDonald House was built. It was right near the VA hospital, kind of right behind it, right?
That's correct. We're still there.
And you're still there. And the Ronald McDonald House is such an important feature of the community because UF Health is a nationwide hospital system, and people come from all over the country to come to Gainesville to visit and get treated by some of the best doctors in the world. So can you tell our listeners and viewers who aren't really familiar with Ronald McDonald House what your mission is and what you do?
So the Ronald McDonald House keeps families close to their seriously ill child. And we do that with two different programs. We have a family room that's located on the 10th floor of UF Health, Shands Children's Hospital. Truly an oasis within the hospital environment. Last year, we had to close our family room due to COVID, and we found a very creative way to serve families sitting bedside. So we have diaper bags that are about this big, this wide. We fill them with non-perishable microwavable meals, sweet and salty snacks, some fuzzy socks, and families are able to pretty much eat their way through these comfort bags. The really cool thing, Jeffrey, is that last year we delivered over 980 of those bags. And so far this year, we've delivered over 1,400 of those bags. And we work directly with the pediatric social workers. So we make sure that every mommy and daddy sitting bedside is able to get one of these bags and feel the impact and love from our community. Because the cool thing is, these bags are fully funded by people in our community. We have not spent one penny of our operating budget to fund all those non-perishable microwavable meals, the sweet and salty snacks, the power bars, they have all come from donations from people in our community. So that's one program. The second program, which is what we're really well known for, is our 31-bedroom house. We're at 100% occupancy 365 days a year because of the preeminent doctors at our children's hospital. So we are an indefinite stay house, which means when you get a room, you keep that room until your child is discharged, either discharged to God and they pass, or discharged to the family. So the longest family that's been with us is 18 months. Jeffrey, can you imagine what it feels like to be ripped out of your entire support system and you don't even have a true home to stay, and our house becomes your home?
Now, are these folks that need the financial assistance as far, that they can't just afford to go rent a big house or a nice suite at a hotel?
That is the misperception. We serve any family who wants to stay close to their seriously ill child. So it doesn't matter your socioeconomic status. What it matters is that you have a seriously ill child at UF Health, Shands Children's Hospital, and you want to, you can pass a criminal background check, because we do criminal background checks on all of our families, and you want to abide by the rules in our house. And one of the rules is you must visit your child in the hospital. And there are some families who can't abide by those rules, and we do ask families to leave, because being at the Ronald McDonald House is not a right, is a privilege.
So one of the missions then is to make sure that the connection between the child and the family is preserved even while the child is going through some very difficult medical procedures.
Absolutely. The number one diagnosis of a family whose child is with us is a heart. So whether it's heart surgery or waiting for a heart to be implanted into a child. So the average length of stay at our house is approximately 9 months. So can you imagine 9 months being away from your support system and your other family members?
Yeah, I mean, it's mind-boggling. We take a lot of things for granted, and, I try every morning to, think about what I have, to be grateful for. And, those folks, are going through incredible challenges.
They are. They start with real lives like you and I have, and then they lose their jobs, they lose their health insurance, and life starts to spiral down around them. And it's so incredibly sad to see.
And you're there to at least provide them the opportunity to be near their child while their child's going through these incredibly difficult challenges. What are some of the other common reasons why families wind up at staying at the Ronald McDonald House?
We see a lot of multiple births, and in fact, we have 3 families in our house that had twins. Can you imagine? There must be something in the water right now. It's really incredible. One is from Panama City, one is from Orlando, and one is from Miami right now.
What are these, preemies?
Yes, all 3 of the children were preemies. 2 are sets of 2 little girls, and the other is a little boy and a little girl.
So they're there while the preemies are growing strong enough and healthy enough to be out on their own.
Absolutely, and we're one of the few houses that have a pumping room, so mom is able to express her breast milk, because breast milk is truly like gold for these little babies. And then mom will take that over, ride the tram over to the hospital, and then meet with their baby and be able to feed their baby at any time of the day or night.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because the mother is discharged from the hospital, but the babies aren't. So you need to go back and forth. Well, the neat thing about the Ronald McDonald House is it's very close to UF Health, and I didn't know there was a tram, but that makes sense, right? And you can either take the tram or take a walk and go back and forth. So it's must be extremely important for these young mothers who are, dealing with, premature babies who are, sometimes they're, pound and a half, 2 pounds.
We consider those micro preemies, and they literally fit into your hand. Their diaper, Jeffrey, looks like a Band-Aid. Can you imagine that?
Wow, wow. So what's the smallest of the preemies that any of the mothers have had?
We had a family a couple of weeks ago that had a 1.5-pound baby, and that family is still, it's just one baby, and that family is still with us right now, and that baby, it's a little girl, and she's thriving and doing really well.
That's amazing. You know, there's been so much progress as far as dealing with, premature babies in the last, 30, 40 years. It's just been incredible. What are some of the other folks that commonly visit Ronald McDonald House?
As sad as it is, cancer. A lot of children are going through experimental cancer treatment, and right now we have several children who are going through outpatient treatment. So mom and dad and the child will be at the house. The child goes over for that treatment. Sometimes that treatment will take them down to their very core, and the child will stay in the hospital for a day or two, and then the child feels well, come back to the Ronald McDonald House, and then start that treatment process all over again.
Wow. And so those I've been over to Sheehan's over the years a number of times, and I know that there's an incredible cancer research program, and there's a lot of research that's on the forefront around the world, right here in Gainesville, Florida. And, it's wonderful that at least under some of the darkest times for a family. I mean, to me, losing a child is probably, about the worst thing that could happen to anyone. And, the fact that Ronald McDonald House is there to provide a place for the families to be together. And if it's a good outcome, great. And if it's not such a good outcome, at least the experience is made a little better.
Absolutely.
And so you've been doing this for 7 years.
I have.
How did you get involved with the Ronald McDonald House?
My husband and I moved to Gainesville 34 years ago. He teaches at the University of Florida. He teaches finance. And it took me 34 years to find my true home. And now I have found the Ronald McDonald House, and I can't imagine being anywhere else.
Well, that's really, exciting, because for those of you that haven't lived in Gainesville, it's a very special place. I call it a village, because we have a way in Gainesville of taking care of the folks that live here, as well as people that visit, either to come to UF Health or for other reasons. And as a matter of fact, my daughter and son-in-law are visiting. My daughter, of course, grew up here, and my son-in-law, they live down in Miami, and he's been up here a bunch of times, but every time he comes up here, he says, there's something about Gainesville, he says, that, it really grows on you, and really, he's starting to walk around and see all these places. So do you make opportunities for the families to get out and do things when they're able?
We do, and we've got great partnerships with the Cade Museum and the Gainesville Health and Fitness. So these partnerships in the community allow our families to get out and to socialize and to have some sense of normalcy in their life.
I mean, it must be. I mean, what do you do? When your child is in the hospital for months at a time, and it's like all of a sudden your normal life, get up, go to work, have the weekends, all that's changed. Everything is different. So we are going to be back, and we are going to be talking with Sherry Houston at the Ronald McDonald House after this 1-minute break. We'll be back on Meldon Law and Friends. Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down. We still hear it. The sound of victory. The joy of being part of something great. And while things may not be the same right now, we haven't gone anywhere. If you bleed orange and blue, then Meldon Law is the firm for you. Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, and it's our pleasure to be here with Sherry Houston from the Ronald McDonald House. Again, I want to encourage everybody to check out our Facebook page, Meldon Law. We're giving away great tickets for all the Gator athletic events as well as other special prizes. By the way, our newsletter, which is Meldon Law Talk, is coming hot off the press this coming week. You should really subscribe to it. You can just go to meldonlaw.com, which is our website, and subscribe to it, or call the office at 1-800-373-8000. And we are giving away $25 gift certificates to the first 200 people that ask for them, to Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where we are broadcasting from, Sherry. And every holiday season, Meldon Law likes to spread a little bit of cheer. And for those of you that have not been to Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, it's an amazing museum, amazing restaurant. We're here in the podcast room, and it is an absolute unique experience. And we want to have everybody have the opportunity to come to Spurrier's. We know that you'll enjoy the experience. So again, our friends at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill have really gone out of their way, and it's our way of thanking the community by giving away our special gift certificates. Again, you can call the office and just get on the mailing list for the newsletter, 1-800-373-8000, or go to meldonlaw.com, and you can just do it online. Anyhow, I'm talking with Sherry Houston from the Ronald McDonald House. And I understand we have a big event coming up next Monday at the Cade Museum.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
So if you like to be creative, this is the event for you. So it's called Build a House for the House. It's a gingerbread house competition. You will have an hour to take a gingerbread kit to build some type of, I call it, monstrosity. You can compete as an individual. You just build your own little house, or you compete as a team of people, of 8 people. So you can do this as a great team building for your office. And we have some fabulous judges who will walk around after that hour to determine whether your thing is dazzling or not. And even I get to choose if someone does something dazzling, because I'm one of the judges.
So I'm very excited. So the Cade Museum is near and dear to my heart. That's where I got married. Yeah, and Patricia and I were married there June 30th. 2 years ago, 2019.
Congratulations.
And the Cade Museum, for those of you that haven't been there, is an absolute jewel. It's an incredible museum of innovation. Dr. Robert Cade was the inventor of Gatorade, but did a lot more than just that at UF Health. And his family saw fit to start the Cade Museum. So it starts at 11:30 on Monday morning, correct?
It does. UF Health is our presenting sponsor, and we have Taste Elegant Catering is going to be providing box lunches. We have some adult lubrication for people to become a little bit more creative, and it should be an afternoon of fun and festivities.
So it's 11:30. When does the judging take place?
We cut the ribbon to all the little kits at 12:15, and people have an hour to build whatever they're going to build, and people bring in suitcases full of stuff. I mean, it's something worth seeing. And then judging starts at 1:30.
Wow.
So they
Okay.
don't have to be edible. There's many different categories. There's the most dazzling. There's one that would be, Best by Betty Crocker. There's actually the home wrecker. Jeffrey, this is the coolest thing. So if you work really hard to make your beautiful kit and your beautiful house, guess what happens? It implodes, and you know what? You could win a prize for that.
Oh, wow.
I know. We
Wow.
have people who start to cry because their house implodes, and now you can win a prize.
Well, so if the house implodes, is that because of the construction technique?
Maybe. Maybe too much lubrication.
So, I mean, are we baking anything?
Oh, God, no, 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 no. We have the kits right there. And so you take your kit and you build something. So either you take all 8 of your kits and you build a whole thing. You could build a fire station. You could build a Ronald McDonald house. You could build a UF Health. Or you take one of your kits and then you build something that you want to build yourself.
But you can bring outside influences in.
Oh, yes. In fact, I have people probably right now who are working diligently to find out ways that they can win.
Okay, I got it. Well, I like that. I'm going to have to run back to the office and let our team know that for lunchtime, there's an alternative next Monday. So the deal is it officially opens at 11:30. However, if somebody wants to get a table or there's sponsorships available, how do people get involved with sponsorship?
Please go to our website, call me. You can tell I love to talk, right?
Yeah.
And we can make that happen for you. We don't take walk-ins that day. So you can't just walk in and say, "Oh, I'm here to build a gingerbread house." We'd like to know ahead of time, so we have the kits available for you and a seat.
So let's start. What's the website?
www.rmhcncf.org.
So that sounds like Ronald McDonald House, North Central Florida.
Ronald McDonald House Charities, North Central Florida,
Okay.
RMHC.
Ronald McDonald House Charities, North Central Florida, and just take the first letter of each of those, and you will get to the website.
You will.
But if you Google Ronald McDonald House in Gainesville, okay, I suspect it will come up, right?
It does. Yes, it does.
And what's the phone number if anybody wants to, get involved?
352-374-4404. And if you want to talk to me, because I love to talk, my extension is 230. My manager's number is 222. That's an easy number to remember. And we can answer any questions and get you all fitted for a gingerbread kit on Monday to win a dazzling prize.
Okay, so if anybody is listening or watching and wants to get involved in sponsorships, are there sponsorships available still?
There are sponsorships available, absolutely. There's teams of just 1 table of 8. There's 2 tables of 8. Of course, UF Health is my only presenting sponsor, so you can't present anymore.
Good. I'm glad that UF Health is backing us. But listen to this. You can be a gingerbread cottage sponsor. You get reserved seating for 8 at 1 table, a logo on the event website, a logo at the event, and 4 custom limited edition aprons. Now that sounds really exciting.
The aprons are really cool. They have our logo on them. They wash really well. They have really nice pockets. So hopefully you'll use them in your real life and cook something dazzling in your own kitchen.
Well, we actually have an apron station in our kitchen, okay?
You were meant to be in my life.
My wife, we have a big open kitchen, we have our dining room and kitchen combined. So we're all, and wherever we travel, we collect aprons. So that would be perfect. I'm going to have to make sure that Patricia, joins me over there. This is going to be really fun. So we have next Monday, that's December 8th, and it is called Build a House for the House. So this raises money for the Ronald McDonald House. How'd you get the title, Build a House for the House?
Well, you're building a gingerbread house, and you're building for the Ronald McDonald House. So we shortened it to Build a House for the House, which is our house.
I get it now. It takes me a while to catch on, Sherry, but I do catch on after a while. And then we have another big event coming up February 18th. and that's in Graham, Florida, the Sporting Clay Tournament. Could you tell everybody where Graham, Florida is and a little bit about the tournament?
Absolutely. So the tournament is being held in February. It is a clay shoot. So there will be teams of 4, and you determine who your team of 4 is. So I don't match you with shooters. You actually bring your shooters with you. And we are endorsed by the Kids and Clays Foundation. So all of the ammunition will be provided for you and your team to shoot the course. We have McDonald's providing breakfast. Lunch is provided by Hill's Barbecue. There will be an after party there's a morning shoot and an afternoon shoot. There's an after party to celebrate the day. And there are fabulous prizes from Bass Pro Shop. And it's a day of outdoor fun and getting out there to shoot clays, all benefiting our Ronald McDonald House. That event, you might be surprised, usually nets us over $100,000.
Wow. So what day of the week is February 18th? Oh,
Friday.
It says Friday. It says right on here, Friday. I'm looking at it. But anyhow, so February 18th is Friday. I'm trying to think if that's President's Day weekend or not, or the weekend before. Anyhow, it doesn't matter because write it on your calendar. Go to the Ronald McDonald website and sign up for the February 18th Shooting Clays Tournament 222. It says the 9th 222.
2022.
Oh, that's a 0 between the first 2 and the second 2. So anyhow, it just goes to show you, I swear to God, if you guys can see this, it looked like 222 to me, but Sherry was very crafty here, and she put a little bullseye thing in there. This is the 9th annual, and we are really excited that this is such a big deal. I'm looking at all the different things going on. You don't want to miss it. And so where's the Bradford Sportsman's Farm?
It's outside of Stark, Florida.
Okay. So for everybody in North Central Florida, and, we're going to be, helping Ronald McDonald House, so we want everybody else to join in and participate. This sounds like fun. I know the team at Meldon Law would love to go shoot clays. I'd rather have them do that than, something else. So anyhow, this is going to be a great event. So we're going to wrap up the show now, Sherry. We've got 2 great events next Monday over at the Cade Museum. Then we have the 2022 Sporting Clay Tournament coming up. I want to thank you very much. I encourage everybody to go to the Ronald McDonald website and check things out. And we look forward to having you back again and join us on Meldon Law and Friends.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeffrey.
Okay, you're very welcome, Sherry. Bye, everybody. When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. 2 forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. Albert, Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down. The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together, which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we.
gosh! I can't even believe this! Look what you have done to my truck!
Excuse me, it's your fault, it's not my fault.
Yes, it is your
No,
fault!
it's not, no,
I am
it's not.
calling Jeffrey Meldon from Meldon Law.
So I'm gonna call Jeffrey, my husband.
Meldon Law, this is Jeffrey speaking.
Jeffrey! This crazy lady here! This crazy lady, he might...
New client?
Yes, but this one might be a little tricky. We still hear it. The sound of victory. The joy of being part of something great. And while things may not be the same right now, we haven't gone anywhere. If you bleed orange and blue, then Meldon Law is the firm for you.
We are here at the University of Florida, where Albert and Alberta are competing in the Gator penalty shootout. Albert is ready to stop the shot at all costs. What a disaster! Luckily, Meldon Law is the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. If you have suffered any injury, do not worry, because Meldon Law is going to help you with your recovery. Meldon Law doesn't back down until they reach their goal.
Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder of Meldon Law, and we are very excited. Meldon Law is in our 50th year now, and we would encourage everybody to check us out. This is our Facebook presentation that's also on YouTube and 39 other audio platforms. Please check us out, Meldon Law and Friends. In addition to that, our Facebook page, Meldon Law, has lots of great giveaways, and we want to encourage you to go to our Facebook page and see what's going on. The Lady Gators volleyball team is in some regionals right now, and they're going to be playing at home, so check us out. We're going to score some tickets and give them away. We also are big supporters of anything athletic as far as the Gators go, and we're hoping that when they announce a football championship or football bowl game, no championship in the language for the Gators this year as far as football goes. However, we got a new coach, and Billy Napier is going to lead us to the promised land once again. So there's always hope when you're a Gator, because you know, there's nothing better than being a Florida Gator. So anyhow, let's get back to what's really important. Our next guest, Addison Staples, is with a terrific group, Aces in Motion, and I want to welcome you to the show, Addison.
Thank
How
you so
doing?
much. Good. How are you?
Well, I am very interested
Sure.
in what you have to say, because I don't know if you knew this, but we come from a tennis family.
I did. I was just catching up with your son before, and we have a lot of similar tennis connections. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, why don't you tell us a little bit about Aces in Motion and how you got involved and how it got started?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again for the opportunity to come speak in front of a large audience. And so Aces in Motion began about 8 years ago from just a handful of volunteers and now current board members that just teaching one day a week in East Gainesville. And it started off very much as just exposing youth to the game of tennis. And there were some passionate volunteers that invited me to come teach at an elementary school, and that elementary school turned into a middle school. And currently, you know, we are a sports-based youth development organization. And what that means is we try to use the game of tennis to instill in them character attributes and teach them skills that they can not just learn on the tennis court, but also transfer into the classroom and transfer into their life and hopefully into the career of their choice. So, yeah, that's kind of in the beginning stages of it. Was primarily tennis, because I'm a tennis coach by nature and trade, and then it graduated into the organization that it is today.
Yeah. Now, you were talking a little bit earlier before the show started that Arthur Ashe actually had something to do with, the whole movement as far as trying to teach kids a little bit about tennis. And a lot of these were kids that wouldn't normally wind up on a tennis court without some organization like AIM.
For sure. Yeah, so what we are is a National Junior Tennis and Learning Center. And what that is Arthur Ashe and a few others did establish that network of organizations. And the United States Tennis Association took that on and decided to start funding those chapters. And so it started, I think, up in the Northeast. And now there's probably a NJTL chapter in almost every major city in the country. There's over, I think, 250 chapters throughout the country. And I think they're collectively, they serve more than 200 students, under-resourced students, in their communities. And so what he, started was a movement of how we can leverage tennis for communities that may not have the opportunity due to the financial barrier that tennis can maybe, present itself with, whether it be at a country club or just the cost of the equipment to play.
Yeah, I mean, most people take it for granted that, you can somehow afford to buy a tennis racket and balls, and that, there's certainly sports that are more expensive than tennis. However, for a lot of families, that's not even in their mindset as far as, oh, I'm going to have my kid go play tennis.
Right. Yeah, and for many of our students, it's their first time picking up a racket, and it's not something that's stereotypically something that they see or is encouraged at their school, and in some of them it may be their first opportunity out of school to play. And so one of the things we've also been involved is starting a middle school tennis league here with all the local Alachua County schools. So we have run that for the last 9 years. It was actually started before I came on as executive director. And
wow.
So yeah, and so myself and board member now and board president Ann Katurba are kind of the founders of Aces in Motion, which was the NJTL component of Gainesville Area Community Tennis Association, which is the larger umbrella under the United States Tennis Association.
So how do the tournaments and the league, how does it work?
Yeah, so every middle school that has a parent volunteer gets matched up with a local facility, and a local coach, signs on to being their coach for the season, at least giving them practice, and then the parents kind of act as the on-court coaches. And that's how the tennis league operate, and they just have a number of games, and all the local facilities chip in on where they can play, and it's a great season. It's a no-cut team, and it's just really a great competitive, more fun than serious competition. But it's a lot of them. It's a great way to get a couple hundred kids out on court for their first, and prepare them for high school tennis as well.
In addition to the sport, which is a great sport and a lot of fun, what are some of the things that you help the kids learn in the participation with AIM?
Sure. The first few years, it was very much tennis focused, and we worked on character development and tennis. That was our main focus, and we were probably at about 10 to 13 locations, mainly at schools and other after-school programs, and just provided a tennis component to their existing programs. But after about 3 or 4 years of doing that, we really started to get to know a few of the students. A lot of the students wanted to take it further, and we decided to open up our own after-school program. And so once we did that about 5 years ago, we really got into the world of after-school programming and youth development, and specifically sports-based youth development. That's where my training and my research as a graduate student at the University of Florida came from. And the activities that we do, that the kids will do on a weekly basis, is 1 day a week they will do enrichment, which is a character or a life skill that will have people come in and guest speakers and other exposure trips. 3 days a week we do academics. 1 day a week, mandatory tennis, and then one of those days we try to do a community service aspect to the program. And so in 1 full week, they will get a full rounded kind of exposure to all those different services and activities but all with the goal of preparing them for college, preparing them for life after high school. And that is our goal.
And how many locations are you doing that currently?
Well, previously, before the pandemic, we were at the University of Florida 4 days a week in the old Florida gym, if many are familiar with that, and actually practicing our tennis on the varsity tennis courts right next to.
That must have been exciting for the kids.
Oh man, I mean, just being able to be in that arena of excellence right next to Brian Shelton, who's been a huge champion for us and has supported us in many, many different ways, as well as the women's team, which I think is one of the most, decorated national championship sports teams at UF.
I mean, between Andy Brandy and Roland Thornquist, that's quite
powerhouse.
a pedigree, huh?
So, I mean, just being around that and being able to expose our students to that level of, success and prestige is really cool. I think that makes our program very unique. And so, just couldn't be more thankful about our partnership with the University of Florida. So, but since the pandemic, we have been operating on a number of different locations, primarily T.B. McPherson Recreational Center in East Gainesville, and now currently we're at the Duval Elementary School, and we operate out of about 6 classrooms out of that school.
So where the kids get to play tennis at?
So right now, currently, we're at T.B. McPherson Park. There's about 4 tennis courts there that we utilize. I think we just got the green light. I hope I'm not speaking too soon to get back to the University of Florida. And that's kind of where we'll practice, 1 day a week. And it's a perfect thing because, a lot of UF students ride their bike or walk on over, and we have a really great relationship with volunteers. We have a 1-to-1 ratio as far as tutors to our kids, and then on the tennis court, we partner with the UF club tennis team and get a lot of volunteers that way as well.
If folks want to get involved with the Aces in Motion, what's your website? How do we get people getting involved, and how do they contact you?
Sure. Yeah, you can go to our website at acesinmotion.org, and we have all of the information. There's sign-ups for volunteers. There's sign-ups to sign your child up for the program, and there's sign-ups for anybody looking to join our team, whether it be from a staffing perspective. So all those sign-ups are on our website. All of our social media, Aces in Motion, all one word, is followed by the social media platform. And we're always looking for tutors. We're always looking for guest speakers. We're always looking for doors that can be opened for field trips and things like that. And so anything that anybody has, time, talent, treasure, we're open to that, and all of that can be found and utilized on our website.
It's amazing because I've been involved with the tennis scene in the Gainesville area for, 35 years at least. Sure. And I was not aware of Aces in Motion. I think it's because my son, Kerry, went on to college where he actually played collegiate tennis at William and Mary, which is a Division I school.
Yeah,
and
it's a great school.
He really he was very, very into tennis. In 1996, he played #1 singles and doubles at Gainesville High School.
Oh, wow.
And they won a state championship. So
and we've known similar. The guy that he actually won that with taught me how to play tennis, and so I owe all my tennis to Mike Orensky and Marcos Ase. Big shout out if they hear this podcast. But I was volunteering at the hut at Westside Park working
when
there.
Mike was there.
When Mike was there,
yeah.
and all the UF guys were working there, including Marcos. And he was like, "Let me teach you how to, hit a forehand." And I went out, and I still keep in touch with those guys and let them know that they were a great inspiration and got me into the game.
Marcos was a coach up at Indiana?
He's up at, I think, Illinois.
Illinois. I knew it started with an I and it was up north. Illinois.
He's doing great, too. I mean, they're killing it, and just he's a great coach.
Well, I have to tell you that when Kerry was a junior and senior, he won Son Tennis Player of the Year. In his junior year, he was co-tennis player of the year with Carly Assey.
Oh, wow.
And his senior year, he was co-player of the year with Marcus Assey. And so we knew the Asseys, and Kerry was very competitive, and we had to make sure that he didn't jump over the net and punch out one of the brothers because they were really good.
Yeah.
And the two and Kerry and the Assey brothers became best friends.
That's great.
After that. And, we actually had Carly Assey on the show several months ago.
Get out of here. It's a
Yeah,
small world.
so
It's a
anyhow,
small world.
They were great. Okay, so we are here with Addison Staples from Aces in Motion. We're going to take a 1-minute break, and we're going to be back on Meldon Law and Friends.
We are here at the University of Florida, where Albert and Alberta are competing in the Gator penalty shootout. Albert is ready to stop the shot at all costs. What a disaster! Luckily, Meldon Law is the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. If you have suffered any injury, do not worry, because Meldon Law is going to help you with your recovery. Meldon Law doesn't back down until they reach their goal.
We still hear it. The sound of victory. The joy of being part of something great. And while things may not be the same right now, we haven't gone anywhere. If you bleed orange and blue, then Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder of Meldon Law, and we are really excited. This week we have Addison Staples from Aces in Motion. Addison, when it comes to tennis, I did not have very many aces, but it's a good aspiration, right?
Sure, absolutely. Shoot for him. Yeah.
Have you ever been to the U.S. Open?
Yeah, I love going every year. I try to make it up as many times as I can, but yeah, I've been going for many years now.
Well, when you mention Arthur Ashe, I've been up there, I think, 4 times now. We went the first time 1993, and I took my son Kerry. He was like 15 years old at the time, and then we went back in 1995, and I was just blown away by the whole scene. I mean, people watch it on TV, but they really don't understand everything that's going on there.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, a real special moment was about 3 or 4 years ago. We won our Chapter of the Year award, a national award of all the NJTL chapters, which we're a part of. And they flew us up there to accept our award, and Billie Jean King was the one who actually presented our award to us at the U.S. Open. It was just a really special moment for our organization, and just to be in that setting for sure. So it's a cool place.
For our listeners and viewers, put it on your bucket list. Go to the U.S. Open. It's always like the last week in August, first week of September when it starts. It goes for 2 weeks, and it is the most fun. It's not just sitting there watching tennis. It's a whole event. It's like a food fest, a cocktail party. You meet the nicest people up there. Everybody is just kind of hanging out, and you can you can go on the side courts during the early the first week and see incredible tennis. Up close.
Courtside, yeah.
It's like you could be 5-10 feet away from some of the greatest tennis players in the world.
Absolutely.
So-
No, it's a great venue.
So anyhow, that's something that you can do, and it really is a lot of fun. Getting back to what Aces in Motion is doing currently, I know that with COVID things are a little bit different. When you get back in full force, though, will you be able to be playing tennis around the city at different courts?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so the way we have a 5-day-a-week after-school program we have about 65 students in our after-school program currently, and they come from at least about 9 to 10 different schools throughout the city. And so, as I mentioned, we have at least 2 to 3 days a week that they get the opportunity to play. So middle school, and I also didn't mention that our program is specifically for middle and high school students. And so they get in to our program no later than 6th or 7th grade, and we stay with them all the way through their middle and high school careers, and hopefully prepare them for their next journey into college and career. And so, yeah, that we play all over city courts, UF courts. Used to teach locally here, so all of the local clubs, DB, 300 Club, Hale, Gainesville Country Club have graciously opened their doors to allow us to come and practice or be a part of their club at various times and locations.
Yeah,
so.
DB is near and dear to our heart. Don and Dave Blair were like surrogate parents for my son, because they take Kerry on road trips. When he was playing tennis, in the tennis world, when you get pretty good, then you want to go to these meets that are outside of town, Orlando or Tampa or Miami, and
A lot of traveling.
A lot of traveling.
Yeah.
And the Blairs who run DB racket were great about that. It was like they had a little camp of kids that they would travel with and go to these, and that's one of the ways that you get better, is playing against really good competition.
Yeah, and they still do that till this day. They just had a signing of 2 students that they've been teaching, and they run a great program over there for youth.
So you've been around Gainesville for how long?
I grew up off and on throughout Gainesville pretty much my whole life, so I'm a ACR, as they say, and I'm a huge Gator fan, and so yeah, I've been in Gainesville. But the reason I'm back, I went off to play college tennis at Methodist University up in North Carolina, and worked at various country clubs and settings, and then coached for Flagler College in St. Augustine before coming back to get my master's at UF. So. When I was back getting my master's at UF, that's when I was teaching 1 day a week in East Gainesville, just volunteering my time, and that's when I just fell in love with East Gainesville for one, and wanted to be a part of the students that wanted to take tennis to the next level.
Yeah, how would you rank the tennis scene in Gainesville compared to other communities?
I mean, if you look at historically, your son was part of a great era. If you look back a few years before that, there was a number of professional tennis players that came out of Gainesville, and so there's a rich history of tennis players that have come out of Gainesville, and so it's pretty unique in that aspect.
I think because the University of Florida is here, and the tennis greatness stretches a long way back into the 80s and maybe even before. Mm-hmm. We're here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, and if you go up to the top, they call it visors because, of course, Steve Spurrier wore visors. They have portraits that James Bates did of every national champion coach at the University of Florida. And, of course, Brian Shelton won the national men's championship last year.
Yep.
And so he is up there. But they also have, Andy Brandy, who I think won maybe 3 or 4 national championships as a women's tennis coach.
Right.
Roland Thornquist
has brought home a number as well.
Yeah, I mean, you go up there and you go, oh, the University of Florida is, won all these national championships, and I think what it's created is a special interest in tennis in a very sports-oriented town.
Yeah. I mean, and just to brag on Brian a little bit, one of the most, men of integrity that I've ever met in my life, and just what he's been able to do at University of Florida with men's tennis is just phenomenal. And, when he came to Gainesville, his first year was the first year that Aces in Motion actually got started. And as my naive self just sat down, made an appointment to sat down with him, meet him, and just told him our story. And, he's been on board and been an advocate for us since that first day. And so, and his son, Ben, is just a phenomenal player. And his son and one of our first students that we started with 8 years ago he, just has a really cool relationship, always been super warm and inviting. And so it's just been cool to have that relationship with such a national championship coach like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Father, son win a national championship
man.
together. That's a hell of a story, isn't it?
And now Emma, his daughter, is there playing for the women's team.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
She
Oh, my
just
God.
transferred. So it's really cool to be able to see that, What a story. What a story.
And getting back to, the core of the program as far as teaching life skills, I'd like you to just address that one more time, because people don't understand, exactly how sports teaches life skills all the time. What are your thoughts regarding that?
Yeah, I mean, we all learn in different ways, and it's not all the learning isn't done in the classroom. And so if we can transfer some skills like discipline and communication out on the tennis court, for example, our students are required to dress out on tennis days that they come to the program, and if they don't, they get a call to their parent on the first strike, and on the second they get a one-on-one, and then but that teaches discipline, that teaches responsibility, and how can we transfer that from the court to the classroom, and make sure you bring your pen, your paper, your books, your homework, and turn that in. And so we are specific and intentional on relating those lessons that we not only teach on court, but also try to transfer that, so that when we do our tutoring sessions the next day, we can make that relationship. And they're like, all right, I guess if I'm going to do it on the tennis court, or I'm going to do it here, then I guess I know how to do it in school, because many of our students, need that extra academic support. And so that's, our program is 100% free to all of our students, and one of the main qualifiers is income. And so, we just want to make sure that the character skills that we try to instill in our students are able to be transferred beyond the tennis court.
That's really great, because to be prepared in sports is very similar to being prepared in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And, you need to make sure that, you come and you got your shoes and your socks and you're dressed out, and you're, you have to think about it. And when you're really focused in on achieving something, you can see changes in people.
Yeah.
And a lot of the young people may not get all that learning at home, and that they need some outside influences to help teach the skills necessary for success.
Absolutely. And we also, social emotional development is also a big component of our program. We have, resources such as a mental health counselor and other things to really work through. And we are a trauma-informed coaching, and it's an extra certification in coaching that you can get as a sports coach to really be able to handle situations that may come up as a result of trauma, whether that be students that may come from the foster care system, or whatever life experiences that brought them to that point. And so we really do try to make it a holistic program, and try to really look at the whole child and address whatever need that there is, whether it be academic, social, emotional, health, and that's kind of, it's not just a drop-in after-school program.
Well, Addison, we could go on and on and on. I mean, I feel like we're just getting started here on this whole topic, because, having an influence like yourself, and the Aces in Motion program in North Central Florida is so important and exciting to hear about. We'd love to have you back again on Meldon Law and Friends, and I want to thank you very much for everything that you do for the community, and we appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Okay, everybody, it's time to go. I'm Jeffrey Meldon. Our guest, Addison Staples, is Aces in Motion. Remember to look him up and get involved. If you have any knowledge or interest in tennis, he's always looking for volunteers, and it's something that you can do, have a good time, and help a young person. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Meldon Law and Friends.